Hey everybody, Average Picker here. So this video is going to be kind of about my eBay buying habits, I guess. It's not really what I would call tips and tricks, because I don't really have like a trick or anything like that that's going to get you anywhere on eBay or give you any kind of real advantage over anybody else. But I did get asked this question about it the other day, and I ended up having a conversation with the person about it. But then my good friend Sammy, shout out Sammy, she said I needed to do more rambling videos. So Sammy, here's a mocha and a rambling video for you. So let's talk about lock shopping on eBay. So I still prefer physical shopping. I really enjoy going out and looking for locks in the public sphere. I think it's much more fun. But when you're starting out picking though, that's really easy, because any lock will do, right? And there's nothing you're really looking for. So you can go out and you can pretty much find them, any kind of recycled hardware stores or upcycled places, antique stores, things like this. It's real easy. Finding, I guess, some of the higher grade locks and specific locks, though, it gets more and more difficult as you go on. And so eventually, of course, I had to just break down and go back to eBay. I say go back to eBay because I used to eBay like crazy when it first came out. And this was back in the day you had to actually send a cashier's check or a money order to the person. You'd win the bet, you'd win the bidding, and you'd email back and forth and exchange addresses. And then you'd have to actually go to the bank and get a check and stuff and send it to the person physically. And then once they got the check, they'd send you the item. Way back in the day. So yeah, but anyway, I got back into eBay things. And I guess I knew from back then when I used to bid on anything and everything and I'd get caught up in bidding wars. I go into eBay now. I have a very specific dollar amount usually in mind. That I'm not willing to go over and I'm not willing to break. That might get me 10 locks, that might get me 1 lock, but regardless, I stick to that. I say, okay, today I'm going to spend $40, maybe, just as an example. That's all I'm going to spend, and I'm including shipping in that. And maybe if there's a tip in some of this, that is part of it. Plan how much you're going to spend, and make sure you look at shipping. The shipping costs are all over the place sometimes. I got a dimple lock the other day off of eBay. At one place wanted like $70 or something to ship this little guy. Yeah, no, don't want to do that. So make sure you do that shipping cost, because some of these locks can look like a really good deal. And by the time you click, the pay now and all of this, and then you see the shipping bill hit, it's like, ooh, I just, you made a $12 lock turn into a $40 lock pretty quickly, especially if it's coming from like Australia or something like that. But you guys all ship stuff, so you kind of know about that. I don't tend to do a lot of bidding on eBay either. I tend to use buy it now. In fact, you can, order your searches and everything, and that's, I think, a real thing to take advantage of. So I look for a lot of buy it now items. I don't want to get hung up in a thing of where I'm having to come back and check, or I'm getting bombed with emails telling me, that I need to up my bid a couple dollars. So I tend to do buy it now. We were talking about shipping a second ago. You can sort by free shipping, and that's always nice to kind of take a glance and look through what all's there and being offered as free shipping. Just a way to save a few bucks. So yeah, I tend to have a set dollar amount. I tend to do buy it now, and I really like to look for stuff that is free shipping. I usually try to get off the beaten path of stuff. If it has lock sport in the title, see, when I go into eBay, I do not have one specific lock in mind that I want, generally speaking. There are occasions where I go, man, I want this lock. I need to get one of these now. And what I find is when I tend to go into wanting a specific lock or a specific thing, I tend to end up overpaying a little bit. Or I get caught up in a bidding war or something like that and then end up overpaying. So I tend not to go into eBay with any expectation or any idea of what I'm going to look for, I kind of almost do it like I'm physically lock shopping. I just start sorting through all the stuff and I see what I find and what piques my interest. Forgot where I was. Yeah, so off the beaten path a little bit. If it says Lock Sport in the title, I start, in the back of my head, there's this little bit going, I might be getting a little upcharged on this a little bit because somebody knows about lockpicking as a hobby, and they're pushing that angle. And it could be some of you out there doing and selling it, which is, I think, fine. And I'm not against having Lock Sport in the title or mentioning it or popping up as a keyword, but if I get away from spotting that as a keyword, I know I'm a little bit off the beaten path, and I might be in some territory that not so many people are treading on either. So I like to kind of look that way. I'll do some really broad searches a lot of times. Just type in Euro cylinder. Other times I'll look specific for a country. Chinese Euro cylinder or Chinese dimple lock or Argentina lock or something. Even though it may end up coming from some other country, I kind of like to see the regional stuff a lot of times. So that's cool. I look at because it'll give you across towards the bottom a little strip of like similar items of what other people have looked for, and it'll give you a lot of times like some other items that same seller has. If I'm getting a lock from somebody and I look down and I see that seller has other items, now I'm really interested. So I might be buying a lock from them, but down in the bottom they've got teaspoons and salt shakers, let's say. And it displays like 5 or 6 items from them. If it's got something like that in it, I go and I click their name and I go and I look at everything they've got. Because in the back of my head, again, what I'm getting is this person is interested in spoons and salt shakers, or maybe just general housewares. And maybe they went to an estate sale or they did something that procured them those locks that I'm buying. So what I'm hoping on is there's going to be a whole heap or a small heap of some other pretty interesting locks in there, and they just want to get rid of them. They're not bothering to really look up what they are. They're not doing anything with it. It's just like, oh, well, here's some other stuff I've got. Let me chuck it up, even though that's not my interest or my area of expertise or anything like that. So I love spotting that kind of stuff. I get real interested then. So yeah, if they're selling a lock and they don't have anything else posted that's lock related, I go and look at everything they've got for sale because I'm hoping there's going to be a few more locks in there. Oh, what else? I don't think about reselling the locks that I buy off eBay. So that's the whole idea of like, oh, I'm going to get this lot of locks and it's going to have these couple in it and I can resell those and make some of this money back. I just consider the whole thing a wash. If I want to get rid of any of them, I just give them away, honestly. I had ordered a couple Yales, and I did not realize, because I didn't read very closely, I was actually getting like 8 Yales. I only really wanted 2 of them. I just gave them away. I don't think about, I can use that to offset the cost of this. There's a guy, it's the bankrupt one, Mark chapter 13. I think he's got a few videos he's done in the past. I don't know if he's done anything recent, because he does a lot of like lock flipping and lock collecting. So if you're looking for information about like that, I would say go check out Mark chapter 13's channel. He's probably much more up on the whole idea of flipping locks and buying lots, really zooming in on the pictures and seeing, what is that in with all of it? Can I sell that to recoup all of this cost? How much am I willing to spend, kind of thing. I don't do that. I just kind of call it a wash. Is there one I regret? Yeah, there is one I regret. There was a lot that came in, and it ended up going off of a make a deal for like $100, and it was like 60 pounds of locksmith equipment. And you looked at it, and most of it was junk, but there were so many locks in there. There did not seem to be anything that looked too rare. Maybe one of you watching this video snagged it for that $100. Kudos to you, and I'd be real interested if you did to know what all was in there. At the time, it looked like bidding, because it was not a buy it now. It was a make an offer or bid on it. The shipping was uber expensive. It was going to be like, 6 to 9 boxes or something of stuff. A lot of it was just kind of junk bits of metal and tail pieces, and there were some screwdrivers and things like that in there. But there was a whole lot of cylinders. Couldn't really tell what a lot of them were. And I could not get around the shipping cost. I kept looking at that and I kept going, man, no matter what I spend on it, and I can't remember the shipping cost on it now, but I was like, it's really high because it is so much crap. And I knew a lot of it I didn't want. And then when I got the notice that the guy had accepted an offer for $100 and I saw that, I was kicking myself. I was like, man, I should have just forked over the money. Couldn't quite afford it. It was $100 was not on my disposable income list at the time, but I could have pulled it off. I should have pulled it off. I should have kept a few things that I wanted out of there and just given the rest away. I should have just days of giveaways is probably what I should have done with that, and I do regret it. I really hope somebody in the lock picking community snagged that thing, and if you did, kudos. And as I said, I'd like to know what all was in there. It looked pretty impressive. One of my favorite sellers is a regular lock seller from Bulgaria, Lock Center Sofia, I think, in Bulgaria. Love them to death. It seems they roller coaster a tiny bit, but they always have something interesting. And I think, at least in my opinion, I don't know what some of those locks are worth. To me, it's worth it on a lot of them. I think it's Lock Center Sofia. I have them bookmarked, and I just go and glance through their stuff every so often. I'll dig it up maybe for this video and put a link below, though I feel like I'd be kind of giving away one of my favorite people to buy from. But I think I've mentioned them before, though, so not too worried about it. And I'm not sure, but I know, all of our favorite Bosnian Bill, he has mentioned a Bulgaria seller several times in videos, and I suspect it's the same person. Not 100%. But yeah, they've got some neat little locks. They're well aware of the lock sport community. I think they do some picking themselves. So yeah, I like getting stuff from them. My weakness is Sargent locks on eBay. I love Sargent locks. I don't know why. If I see a Sargent, I can get real close to overpaying on some Sargents. I sit there and I go, no, I don't need any. I've got a ton of them. Half of this one drawer is probably Sargents. And then I go, but I don't have that Sargent. So that's my weakness, lock. So if you're trying to snag me on eBay, post some Sargents, especially Sargent signatures. I really enjoy picking those. Again, don't know why. It's one of those locks that I picked up early on, and it kind of clicked with me, and I just like it. And I've said it before, I think it's just a good standard if you can maintain picking a Sargent signature, or not Sargent signature, but just Sargent line of locks. If that's your baseline, I think you're doing pretty decent. I think by all rights you can say I'm a pretty good picker, pretty average picker. Is that what we should do? I think it's a good little baseline. They're tight little locks, real nice. So that's my weakness on eBay. But yeah, so I think that's all I've got to ramble about eBay. Sorry, Sammy, if you wanted more of a ramble. I would go into it with knowing how much you're going to spend, because it's real easy, I think, especially with Buy It Now on PayPal, to just click, click, click. And before you know it, you've spent a few $100. Go into it with an idea of here's how much I'm going to spend. I enjoy just using it as a general lock shop thing. I don't go into it most of the time looking for a specific lock. I just go in and I see what's available, what piques my interest and what grabs me. And then I look to see, is the price point good? What's the shipping look like? What's the two combined going to look like? Am I going to have to get into a bidding war about this, or can I just buy it now? And if the option is there to buy it now, I will usually, provided the shipping is good, 9 times out of 10, I'll just go ahead and pick it up. And that's how you end up with weird little things like this that you kind of forgot about, I guess. I just saw, But you end up with some cool stuff too. And I'd say try to get off the beaten track a little bit. So, I mean, doing your general searches, for, I guess, typical lockpicking keywords is pretty good. But if you can get into some of those little nooks and crannies sometimes, it's probably worth it. You never know what you're going to find. So, there we go. Maybe that was mildly entertaining or useful to somebody out there. Yeah. But, all right, Sammy. Hope that was enough of a ramble for you, and I hope the rest of you have a good one and enjoyed listening to me ramble about shopping on eBay for locks. Get some weird stuff off there. Anyway, have a good one.